We are live and you are getting to see how we talk about this. So we're always thinking about you and what your needs are and how we can meet them. Thank you so much, Jane. Oh, and happy birthday, Jane. Woo-woo!
Thank you.
Yes. You didn't know that was coming, but many blessings to you, Jane. Thank you so much. I'm so glad that you are with us, and I just really want to celebrate you. And I know that you and your husband are good at celebrating things because you taught me about the month anniversary.
Yeah.
Yes. You celebrate your anniversary every month.
Good idea.
I know, right?
A month anniversary.
Yes.
Yes.
So that is great. So I think everybody listening in should pay attention to the way that Jane and her husband celebrate. So lots of birthday times. We like to encourage that you have a birthday month. So you're celebrating for your entire month of your birthday. Absolutely. So we'll weave that into this week's topic. So this is Career Lab Wednesday. We're here every Wednesday from noon to 1 p.m. Central Time. And we have topics, but our main purpose, as maybe you were seeing as we were setting off to launch today, is to serve you, is to help you with career related questions, help you vision for what you want in your career. Like Dr. Gordon Medlock often talks about how your career is a pathway or a vessel for you to reach your potential, for you to develop, to become who you can become. So with that context, though, we are looking at network. We're looking at networking this week. That kind of evolved out of last week's conversation that we were having in Career Lab, which is about how important a good network is, how important you developing your network is. Oftentimes, it's not the job ads, it's not responding to those that are going to get you the job of your dreams. So thank you, Eric. We'll see you in a little bit. So that's our overarching topic, is networking, but reminder that any questions that you have career related, there's a couple ways that you can share those questions and get coaching. One of them is my favorite way, if you're able to jump in, like Eric and Tiffany have done here, and you're able to come off mute and get coaching one-to-one with Dr. Medlock and I, that's awesome. If that's not an option for you and you're only able to view in through Career Lab on LinkedIn, you can type your questions into the comment section and Jane will get those over to us and we'll do our best to answer those in our time today. So with all that being said, the other thing that we're going to experiment with today is having a time where we break off, where we stop being on LinkedIn Live and transition to a closed group where people can share more, maybe more vulnerabilities or concerns that they have that they didn't want to share while we're streaming live. So we're going to be testing that out today as well. So if you have questions that you want to save for that portion, make sure that you do get in onto this Zoom link and are in the Zoom section of the meeting, because on LinkedIn, it'll disappear. So wanted to let you know that if you have any questions about any of this while we're live here, message me in LinkedIn. Jane is in my LinkedIn account, will handle those questions and she'll make sure that you get set up with the Zoom link. So, Dr. Medlock, last week we were talking about networking and you said some absolutely beautiful things about networking and the importance of that. And I remember Scott Halderson shared some things about that too. One of his points was oftentimes it might be that the jobs that you're responding to online are the leftover ones, the ones that didn't get somebody from basically networking, that somebody in the organization didn't say, hey, I think there's a really good fit for this. So I just kind of wanted to open it up to you, Dr. Medlock, and see if there's anything you'd like to add here as we're getting started today.
Thank you, George Donald. That's a great topic that we're reviewing here. So I like Scott's comment because I think it does say that the primary jobs are going to be filled by word of mouth and through networking, through people who are usually internal to the organization who know somebody. So that's very important for everybody who's in a job search situation to know, because it affects the way you do your job search. Now, if you're there's the resume game that a lot of people play is just, okay, there's posted jobs, I'm going to put my resume in there. And that's going to go on a pile. It's going to go on a growing pile that some HR person is going to sort in or out, in or out. They're just basically trying to rule out, find the people that best fit exactly the profiles. Those strategies tend to work okay for entry-level jobs where there's usually a mass market, and they're really just trying to get the right fit as best they can and rule out the other people that would not be the best. But you're competing against hundreds and maybe thousands of applicants, and you're just one number in a pile at that point. So the odds are low. If you have exactly the right profile for exactly that position, you'll probably get put in the yes pile and you may get a call. So it's important to do that, play that game. But if you're in your career, if you're in any more like a middle management or a middle career position, or certainly a senior level position, that method is not going to be effective. And in fact, the specialists in this field will tell you that the number one way to find a job is through personal networking, because most people want and feel more comfortable hiring a position through a personal reference. So to do that, unfortunately, a lot of people don't develop their networks ongoing in their careers. They only do it when they're looking for a job. And at that point, they don't have the connections they'd like to have. So networking is a lifelong process of having a career and building your network, expanding your influence, how you can help and serve others, and be part of a network so that you're there and available to support others. And when you need the support, you've already got people that you've already been contributing to and working with who would be delighted to help you find a position. So that's the secret, is to actually have this be a lifelong process. And actually, in our labs at Wright, we focus on networking and what we call them win dates as a key component of your own personal growth work. That's really the measure of how you're doing and the level of influence you're having is by how many people you're touching. So really can't emphasize that enough. And thank you, George Donald, for kind of featuring this today. I think it's really important.
Absolutely. Dr. Medlock, I want to build on what you were just sharing. Is one of the things that I've found for me personally, and also as I'm coaching people who are in this phase where they're looking for another opportunity and they're like, oh no, I don't really have a network, and this whole thing, I feel so much anxiety around it. One of the things I often discover is that people have been networking and just not aware of that they actually have friends, family members, people that they met at conferences that actually think of them, remember them, and would be happy to have a conversation and possibly introduce them to somebody. But that when starting off this process, they don't realize the gifts that they have. They don't realize the goodwill that they have towards them, that other people have towards them. And so sometimes just talking about that, the light bulbs start going off, and they can start to say, "Oh, you know what? I do know more people than I thought I knew."
That's a great point. Yeah.
And then what you mentioned, the win date, that's so it's Wonders of Intentional Influential Networking, WIIN. And the game that I've played with this, because I'm one of those people, I'm like, people remember me. I'm like a kind of gregarious guy, but I used to be extremely uncomfortable asking anybody for their card or for their contact information or anything. This is so cool to be talking about. I mean, that's not that long ago that I was like, oh, social media. All I do now when I'm talking to somebody is if I hit it off with somebody, I'm like, oh, what's the best way for me to connect with you? And usually somebody will say, oh, my Instagram account actually, or I do most of my stuff on LinkedIn, or you know what, I'm old school, just text me. And so I kind of put the question, what's the best way for us to, if I wanted to follow up with you, what's the best way? Because a lot of people aren't carrying cards anymore anyway. And so that's been really cool. Like this guy, when the tornado was coming through Chicago the other day, all my neighbors and I are like, we're outside. I got to meet all my neighbors. And so I'm literally like, oh, this is great. What's the best way for me to stay in touch with you? Even though he's my neighbor, in a way, I don't want to go see him all the time. So there's, but to kind of ask, like, what's the best way for us to connect? And it puts it on them, and people will be happy to tell you. People will say, email me, and whatever it is. And that right there, if you haven't been in the habit of doing this, it's just a simple next step that you can start taking with people and letting them know that you value them. And that will open the door to them valuing you more. So I kind of talked for a while. I just went on a rant, but what you were sharing, Dr. Medlock, kind of made me remember that, like, I'm in this process very much so. It is a lifelong process. And I am in a different space right now than I was even 3 years ago around networking. Yeah. So welcome, Melissa. I see you've joined in. I want to do a quick room reset. This is Career Lab Wednesday. Every Wednesday, we're here noon to 1. This week, we're going to be doing something a little differently. Around 12:30, we're going to go into a private group, so that's not going to be streaming on LinkedIn Live. Our topic is networking, but we are here to answer any career-related questions. Anything that's on your heart that you're wanting help with, you can come off mute, share that with us, get direct coaching, type it into the chat, or type it into the comment section on LinkedIn. And Jane will get that over to us, and we'll do our best to answer that. So with that, I'd like to open up the floor to anybody and see what your concerns are, what you're working on in your career, whether you're at entry level, whether you are mid-career, whether you're in a transition right now, or looking at how to end your career in a way that's creating legacy and you're pleased with. So welcome, Joe. Good to see you again. I didn't think we'd be seeing you. How's it going?
Well, I thought I'd log in this morning and talk to you while I had the chance. I was sworn yesterday as the 12th police chief, so I'm on board. So thank you to yourself and Dr. Whitlock, all the help and guidance that you provided over the last, 10, 12 months of this process.
That is fantastic.
Congratulations. That's great.
Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm. So first day
good, job, it's a good feeling. So yeah. I got a busy day. I have no nights free, but for the next week or two. I kissed my wife goodbye this morning as I got up and headed to work, and she said, "I'll see you in 5 years." And so we'll see.
Well, you guys have figured this out. Probably you probably get a few more connections before 5 years if you're.
Oh yes, yeah, we will. I'm just dealing with some media issues, but that's be that as it may. There's some people here that just, we did a very low key swearing in yesterday just to get me on board as the chief, and the more formal pomp and circumstance with the mayor and everyone doing speeches and things, that's coming in the next 2 weeks. So some people just think I'm out of my mind for jumping in now and then not waiting 2 more weeks to do official swearing in. So,
well, but smart move to be on top of it. So, well, thank you for stopping by. Great to see you, and thank you for the good news about your successful first day on the job. And this is, of course, an important time, right? Building those relationships and all of that's going to start right now. So.
Absolutely. Yep. Got to get out there with the community leaders and start meeting with all of them and discussing how what the police department they would like to see, and then how we can shape our police department to meet the requirements of the community, but also at the same time doing what we're supposed to do, which is enforcing the laws and unfortunately apprehending criminals as it may, but we'll do our best to maintain order and work together as a team.
Right. Well, and you're touching on our topic today too. I don't know if you heard the topic, but it's networking, and you're going to be building networks every day of your job from here on in, right? With community leaders and things like that. So
absolutely.
It's a big
that relationship is so important because you got to build that trust, right? So I don't have that trust yet. I have to go earn that. And so that's my goal for the next few months, is focus on that. And so um, with what I've learned in watching and participating with you and Donald, it's just been amazing, and look forward to what I can do for HPD at the experiences I've got listening to all of the people on this broadcast, and what they're going through and what they've been through, and what guidance and instruction you provided them is just amazing. And I can say that it absolutely is important, and it works. What you teach, what you instruct, what you influence, all of your listeners is extremely important, and I'm a product of that. So thank you very much.
Well, thank you. Really appreciate your support in that. Thank you very much.
All right, I got to sign off, got to get dressed and ready to go. So
Okay.
all
Good
of you
luck.
take
Brian.
care, all the best.
Okay. Thank you. See
I
you.
hope to get in next Wednesday. We'll see.
Okay. Joe.
Fantastic, Joe.
Take care. Aloha.
You bet. Melissa, welcome.
Hey, how you doing?
Doing well. Good to see you. So it sounds like you are in a great spot where you are happy in a career and you
Yeah.
think there's more for you.
Yeah, I work for a Head Start, which is, federal government educational program for our kids here in Mississippi. I've been there for 7 years. I love where I work. I love the people I work with. It's convenient at the time because my child was in high school. Now she's graduated, she's married, and I love, I have my summers off, I have the holidays, weekends. I love that, but I'm not being used like I need to be used there. I'm a teacher's aide, and I don't have a bachelor's in education. You have to have that now.
Mhm.
And I'm not looking to I have a associates in business administration,
Mhm.
and there's no openings right now in the office part of it. So I'm like stuck, I guess you can say. I have a good job. I have great benefits. Everything's good. It's just like I don't know. I don't know if I'm getting it through or how it's supposed to sound.
My first question here is, do you have any, are all your kids launched now?
Yeah, both my children are now older. They're on their own, so I don't have that. I don't have to
You're
worry
in a
about
new
that.
phase of life.
Yes.
Any
Both were
reason
married.
that you
Both were in
wouldn't-
the 20s.
Any
Um,
reason you wouldn't get your bachelor's?
I'm working on getting the bachelor's. It's just my student loan. It's just I'm working on getting that student loan down,
Okay.
and I'm going through a consolidation company. I'm paying a little bit at a time, so I don't know how that's going right now. I know that the more I pay into it, the more they help me get that amount down.
Mhm.
You understand?
Yes, and you might also look at, how long ago was it that you were in school?
2007. So it's been a while.
You might look at, it might be that you need the full-time status, but I believe that there's something about getting a chunk more help. I'm in this process too. I completed my bachelor's in my about what was it, 9 years ago.
Yeah.
And so I had continuing education. And there is something about schools that if you work at a school, you might be able to get more assistance.
See, I had online. I did online.
I don't know that matters. You might be able to look into that a little more and find out.
Okay. Yeah, because I'm only like 20 credits shy of a bachelor's in business administration. That's how far.
gotta get that.
That's how much I have to do. It's just the student loan. That student loan is stopping me, and I'm hopefully with this called consolidation company that I'm working with, we can get it, under control so we can be. They take out so much. They'll take off a lot if you pay in so much.
I thought there was
So-
also some benefits if you're working in an educational institution that
Yeah.
some of that loans can be forgiven after 5 or 10 years. So have
Yeah.
you checked
I
that?
know that.
Yeah, I would check the regulations on that, because you may be eligible for having some of that forgiven because
Yep.
you're devoting yourself to education.
Yeah, I love where I work. I want to get further where I was.
So Melissa, that it sounds like that's pretty clear and check that out. That's what I'm doing. I have another, I think 2 years before some of mine are going to be forgiven.
Okay.
And so given that you were
Yeah,
back
'cause
in 2007, that you might already be there.
Okay. Well, yeah, because I'm trying to figure out, I know because the online classes were expensive back in 2005 and 6 when I did it. And
Oh,
nobody told me how expensive it was, even with the associate's
how much
degree.
was it back then?
We're looking at $30,000. That was, and then the interest and piled up.
Mm.
Now, during this time, I had moved, got a divorce, restarted my life, got my kids situated, and they're good. They're great right now. So I'm looking for the next step.
Mhm.
Melissa, I just think, I mean, I usually don't just straight up give advice here, but I think it's pretty clear is
Yeah.
you might be able to take care of the student loans already because of your job. I don't know.
Yeah. I did not know
Um,
that.
And you might also, and then for the next 20 credits, that's something that you should be able to find an online school that is not going to be as expensive as before.
Yeah. That's
And look at how much more you can make once you have that, and be talking to, we forgot about the networking side of things.
okay.
Dr. Medlock, any thoughts around using network here?
Well, first of all, I think you're on track, George Donald, around the focus around your own education. It's not, you're very close.
Yes.
I would be talking to a counselor at a school that you'd like to attend, that you find that you can get it at an inexpensive rate, and tell them your predicament. And I'm sure you're not the first person that's come in with this issue.
Okay.
And they may have different ways of handling that for you, providing support for you, because actually getting that out, getting that completed. 20 credits is how long would that take you to do 20 credits?
It'll take me maybe a semester and a half, maybe two,
Yeah.
2 semesters. Yeah, a year at the
And
most.
And that immediately then opens up opportunities for you.
Yeah.
So just let them know how important it is to you and what can they do to help. So your networking.
I didn't know about the debt. I'd probably get some of that debt. Yeah, because we're looking at like 50 grand. That's from the interest and from the online classes from
Totally.
2005.
And if you're going to be paying to go to a new school, it's going to be in their interest to help you sort it out so that you can go there.
Yeah, because I live in a small town, but we have a college here,
Mhm.
Delta State University, and they're the ones that I've got my business degree going through, and just like 20 credits. It's just the student loan, that loan is stopping me from going a little bit further. And so now I'm starting, since my kids are good and everything, I can start paying on that again and try to get it down to where they need me to get it down to. The consolidation company is about to have half of it taken care of. I think I got a couple more payments to pay, and it's like it'd be down to 20 grand.
Okay.
So I know that.
You're doing
I
some
know
stuff
that
to
you do
get
that.
yourself in good shape. So,
Yeah.
but this is where we talk about resilience. It's one of our themes. I know it's one of the programs we've got coming up, but it's the idea of how do you keep going when things get tough, when they
Yeah.
see the barriers and they start throwing these bureaucracy barriers at you. And you just keep orienting to your vision of what you want to see happen and keep talking to people about that vision and how can they help you get there. And don't let that story stop you.
Okay. Yeah, because the federal government, the people that I work with, is helping others to go to a school, Mississippi Valley State, which is I know maybe 45 minutes away from here, online classes to get a degree in education.
Mm-hmm.
So I would like to do that too. I want to get the business out of the way, and then I'll go and try to do the education, get a double degree.
Yeah.
Cool.
And I would
Yeah.
assume that there's a way to do it.
Yeah, I got that. My stumping block is the student loan. It's just my stumping block.
So,
I'm trying to work through that.
so you're working that. So
Yeah.
you can just say, I'm working at taking care of that. You put that aside and you talk about what you need.
Okay.
And what can they do to help you? And the more you focus on the block, the more it's there, right?
Yeah.
You're gonna find a way to handle it. You've got this consolidation company that's gonna look like they're gonna be able to cut it in half for you. Make sure you're getting good advice there, just to make sure that that's got integrity to it. Unfortunately, there are a lot of groups that are, they may have overcharged you in the initial state. Was this a for-profit company that you got the educational loan for? Do you know?
Actually, it's actually out of Chicago, American Intercontinental University out of Hoffland Park, Illinois.
I don't know. What's it called? American, what is it?
American Intercontinental University, AIU.
Mhm.
And it's based in Chicago, Hoffman Park, Illinois, I think.
I'm looking at it right now online.
We might check it out because there were a number of scandals of certain for-profit companies that were exploiting the student loan situation. And
Yeah,
students
that's
take
where
loans. And you may have gotten caught in something like that. I don't know.
I believe I did.
Mhm.
Because I've been looking online on these online classes, and they were not as much as the ones I took a while back.
Yeah.
My dad, my father passed away. He was a retired Navy
Mhm.
chief, and so a college out of Colorado got a hold of me.
Mhm.
Never heard of them. Colorado Technical University, and they work with military people
Oh. Mhm.
because he was military.
Mhm.
And I'm like, I didn't even know that. So I'm learning new things every time I turn around on the internet.
Good. So
Yeah,
keep
so-
exploring that. Okay.
Oh,
Wow. Look at that.
Class action lawsuit against internet, this place, a for-profit university called, it means approximately this many students will not repay their loans. The university provided wrong information about the average salary of, anyway, so there's some stuff here
yeah, I see that
to
now.
investigate on.
Why don't you
And-
put that link in the chat for her to pull up.
Oh,
And
yeah, good point.
That's good information for you to have, Melissa, in terms of your being part of that actions.
Yeah,
You may not-
apparently I am, because it was back in 2005, 2006.
And Jane will make sure that gets put into the LinkedIn Live comment section if you can't access the link right now.
Let's see.
So Melissa and everybody listening in, one of the things I want to underline of what Dr. Medlock was just doing there was notice the subtle difference, because we break things down into micro movements in terms of rewiring our brain. Because as Dr. Medlock was saying before, our career is a pathway or a vessel for us to become who we can become. All parts of your career, Melissa, and everybody
Yeah.
listening. And so this what you're calling a stumping block. And notice how then that comes in of this block, and how I'm looking at it that way when I say it that way. And then Dr. Medlock offered the viewing it as you're in progress, that you're working on it. And
Yeah.
notice how there's like a little more, you have more agency in that. And so you're training yourself just moment by moment. See, you brought this in here. Now there's some more steps for you to do it. You're in the process of moving this, and it's not just a stumping block anymore.
Okay.
And to add to that, also, we've now George Donald has just come up with some data to indicate that there was actually some fraud involved in that educational loan.
Yeah, okay, I see it now. Yeah.
So that's something for you to pursue and to make sure you're getting the support you need to be informed about that and what the options are for you given all of that, because it may be that that will be something that will be considered when you're looking for a next opportunity, so that you can move forward and just keep focusing on your intent to get your bachelor's degree in the next
Yeah.
semester.
Yeah, I'm gonna, since I've seen that, and I did not even know that happened.
Yeah. No,
I
think
kind of
that-
been consumed by my child and her wedding, so I'm kind of, I'm now able to think for myself.
Oh,
so
congratulations. When was the
Thank
wedding?
you. It's been a 2-year process, let me tell you, and we
Uh-huh.
got it done a couple weeks ago. Like I said, she's
Congratulations.
on her own now. She's
Oh,
her,
congrats.
and I couldn't ask for a better. And she's getting a teacher's degree. She's going in. She about to graduate from Mississippi State with she wants to be a high school band director.
Cool.
So
Good
she's
for
going
her.
to further her education, and she's going to go to college back to be a college band director. That little heathen.
Well, we're
So
excited
she's
about that.
furthering her degree. I guess that's where I got it. So where I kind of figured out I need to finish mine to get
That's
up there
right.
with my daughter.
You got it. Well, we're in we have a university called Wright Graduate University, and I'm very active involved in that. And we're all about education and really helping people develop the skills and the credentials they need to get where they want to get. So you're taking an important step. So we want to just support you all the way. Okay.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank
That's
you.
right.
And actually, the little heathen is now texting me. So let me get off of here. I'll come back in a little bit and look. And let me
Okay.
see what this child of mine is up to now. Thank y'all so much. You're
You're
very
welcome.
helpful.
Hey, Melissa, circle back with us and let us know how it's going, okay?
I sure will. Thank you so much.
Great. That
Awesome.
was fun. Good work on that one, George Donald.
Thank you. That's exciting. We'll see what happens there.
Yeah.
Welcome. I see Daniel.
Yeah.
Welcome. Thanks for your message, Daniel. I hadn't texted you back yet, but I'm glad that you're able to jump in here. But we are at 12:30
Oh,
Central Time. And, one of the things that people had expressed interest in was doing a private group that's not streaming on LinkedIn Live. I would like to take a pulse right now and just
Yeah.
see, is anybody on who would want coaching on something that they wouldn't bring in a live format, and would want to go into a smaller group that's not being streamed.
yeah.
And that goes for everybody listening in on LinkedIn Live right now too. Even if you can't jump into the Zoom meeting right now but if that was something that interests you, just type in yes into the comment section. And let's see about that. Tiffany says yes. Eric, what about you? And Daniel, what about you?
Sorry, can you repeat it? I had a work Teams message that popped up that I had to answer. Well, can you repeat the question?
Yeah, we're talking about discontinuing the stream to LinkedIn Live right now and going into a private meeting, so to speak, one that's not being broadcast. And if that's something that would be important to you.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay,
Yeah.
let's try it out. So Jane,
Just
yeah,
to
we got a
clarify
yes
that
from
real quick,
Daniel as well.
so they're aware of that. We'll continue with the format each week with the beginning with streaming, but then we're looking at using the last half for private coaching. So that's the model we're looking at here. So, okay. So it sounds like we can move forward on that, huh?
Cool. Okay, Robin says yes as well. Robin, and if you want to join in, Jane will get you the link so that you're able to join into the private stream or private. I don't want to use that word. The private meeting.
Yeah.
So we're going to do that now. Jane, thank you. Let us know when we are no longer on LinkedIn Live.
Okay, ending the stream now.